Yo, what's up, fellas, and welcome back to another YouTube video. um, Today I'm doing something a little bit different. I'm trying to be better at posting on both Mondays and Fridays of this week. I just don't have a lot of time to sit down and edit videos, nor do I really have a lot of videos that I can edit right now. But today we're doing something a little bit different. We're talking about Lords of the Fallen and also subsequently Lords of the Fallen 2 that will be coming out next year. Back in 2023 when Lords of the Fallen released, a lot of people did not like this game because it had a lot of glitches, performance issues, and there was a butt ton of enemies in most of the areas. If I remember right, I think one of the criticisms for this game is the fact that you had to go in and out of the Umbral world to continue playing through the game, which does sound like a dumb criticism, but I'm pretty sure it was one of the criticisms for this game. I think another criticism for the game was the sound design. I remember at the time I was watching this one YouTuber, I don't remember his name, but he had said that the sound design wasn't all that good, and he had compared it to Lies of P, another Souls-like that was coming out that year. Another criticism that I'm remembering is that people had said the combat, when they got their chance to play it, felt a little floaty. Like, I think the best description I have, if I'm remembering right, is that when your character would swing his weapon towards an enemy, he'd kind of just slide up to the enemy or something like that. I don't remember. Another criticism for this game was the difficulty in finding where you needed to go to complete the game. Other than that, I can't remember a whole lot of the criticisms. I'm not really looking this up, mainly because I don't think I'll find much, and also because I'm lazy, but those are all the criticisms that I could remember for this game. Ever since Lords of the Fallen's initial release date, CI Games has gone through and updated the heck out of this game. They've improved weapon animations, they've improved their sound design, they've gone through with a 2.0 update that happened 3 months ago. They've made it so there was a friend pass, so the person who owned the game could tell their friend to download it for free, and then they could just play through the whole game together. They added a mode for boss rush. They've added game modifiers to the game. They've basically taken all the criticisms and did the best that they could do to improve this game, which is a statement not made often in modern gaming. Now, this game isn't perfect, but it is a solid 8.5 out of 10. Now, when this game came out, I loved it. It hit the sweet spot for me in what I wanted, which was a Souls-like that you can play fully cooperative with a friend. Not only that, it had 4 secret classes that you could get by beating the game, and then the other class you could get if you had purchased the deluxe version or you just completed a quest line in-game. Which I thought was a pretty cool idea. Secret classes that you could play after you'd beaten the game once. It gives you more replayability and more incentive to play the game through as a new character. And if Lords of the Fallen 2 does the exact same thing but just adds more, that will be just bread on butter amazing. In wanting to talk about both these games today, I kind of want to explain most of what I liked about Lords of the Fallen to tell you why I'm excited for the second game. Besides liking the fact that there are secret classes that will kind of incentivize you to replay the game again as a new character, I really loved the Umbral world system in this game. Maybe not a lot of people liked it, but I liked it. Not only the fact that it kind of changed how the environment looked when you go in between the normal world and Umbral was amazing, but not only that, there was an incentive to stay in the Umbral world for longer, because the longer you stayed, you'd get a modifier on how many souls you would get, which is awesome. I'm pretty sure they're called Vigor, but I'm just going to call them Souls, because that's how most other Souls games call them, or at least Soulsborne. While we're on the topic of Umbral, I liked the Umbral lamp and also the Umbral status effects in this game. The Umbral lamp was kind of a fun thing to use because you could soul flay enemies, which is basically just pulling their soul out from their bodies, which would make it kind of fun for some enemy to player interactions. Like, if you were on a ledge, you could soul flay the enemy off the ledge and they would just drop and fall to their deaths. The Wither status effect was kind of an interesting one because when you would attack an enemy, it would deal it'd do a split damage thing. It would deal the base damage and also then a like white line, gray health type thing where if the enemy hit you back, it would regain its health from being withered. The same thing would happen to you the opposite way around, which is a cool status effect. It is, in my opinion, a little bit niche, but it's something interesting and new, which I like. And even though this idea is, in a sense, a little bit the same from previous ideas that were in other Souls games, like in Bloodborne, you had the gray health thing that you could use to heal yourself back up if you were aggressive enough, but then it would go away eventually. It's a little different in this game where when you take damage, that's when the gray health will disappear. Alright, let's talk about story elements. For the most part, the game has you set up as the protagonist called the Dark Crusader, who is tasked to go out and cleanse all 4 or 5 beacons to stop Adir from returning to this world. Because Adir is bad. The 3 endings are all kind of like in similar veins to most Dark Souls endings, where it doesn't really tell you much nor show you much of what happens in the end. Like the Radiant ending, which after looking this up real quick, all endings are considered bad, but in this ending, you kill Adir after cleansing all beacons, and after that you get incinerated. Before I continue talking about the other 2 endings, I don't know a whole lot about the lore because it's been a minute since I've watched any videos and stuff on it, and nor am I ever really a good person when it comes to relaying what I learned about the lore in videos to other people. With that being said, let's move on. The second ending is called the Inferno ending, or Adir's ending. For this ending, you will go through the game without cleansing any of the beacons. And at the end, you basically get dubbed as one of Adir's Rogar after reviving him into a lady's body. And that's essentially the Inferno ending. Moving on to the Umbral ending, this one's going to be a little bit harder for me to explain because the Umbral ending is kind of like the Frenzied Flame ending in Elden Ring, or the... I can't remember what it's called in Dark Souls 3, like the Dark Lord ending. But it's a very complex ending to get, and I consider it to be kind of the most evil ending, because essentially, from what I understood, is it's basically just destroying the whole world, essentially, like the Frenzied Flame ending in Elden Ring. Now that's a bare bones assessment of the lore in Lords of the Fallen. I wouldn't even consider it to be the best assessment. I probably should have looked up a little bit more on that, but I just kind of needed to get this video out sooner. Now I'm going to quickly go into world design and boss design from a gameplay perspective, not a design perspective, because for the most part, all the bosses in this game are amazingly done design-wise. The world design is very good. I can't really think of much to say beyond just like a simple caveman, me think this is good type thing, but I mean, the levels are well done. For the most part, some of the shortcuts are kind of useless, I would say. Kind of like in Dark Souls 3 with that DLC in Ashes of Ariandel. That, you know the shortcut if you've played that DLC. But other than that, where enemy placements are good. They're not terrible. And that's all I really have to say on world design. Boss design from a gameplay perspective is a little different for me, because for the most part, bosses in this game have a very simple moveset, which is fine because this is supposed to be more of like an easier game, and I have a friend who's not really good at Souls games, and this is kind of like right up his alley, especially since also he can play through the whole game with me, so I can just help him throughout the whole game as well. But I wish bosses were a little bit more complex and harder in Lords of the Fallen. Because for the most part, most of the bosses are a pushover with a few exceptions. Now, I'm going to stop there with talking about the first game and move on to talking about the second game and why I'm excited personally. First off, I believe that the people that work at CI Games love making good games and won't really stop until they believe that that game is good enough for them to move on. So what that means for us as gamers is that if, like, worst case scenario, Lords of the Fallen 2 comes out and it has bugs, glitches, and performance issues, the people that are working on the game won't just abandon it and be like, well, sorry, I guess. Well, let's move on to the next project. They're at least going to stay until the game works and people are happy with what they made. And with what they have with Lords of the Fallen, I think they have a pretty solid blueprint to build upon what they did with the first game and to make the second game even better. I mean, take a look at From Software. Their first Souls games weren't very well polished and worked out with gameplay and such. I mean, they were still good, don't get me wrong, but they took what they had at the very beginning and improved it for 10 years now, or longer than that. So at the end of the day, I'm really just saying, if you're doubting, just let CI Games cook. I'm putting my full trust in them for now. If they fail that trust, then I'm never really gonna be saying stuff like this about them again, but I trust them as of right now. And I plan on buying the game the moment I can and playing it through and reviewing it for all of you come 2026. And if the people at CI Games are watching, if you ever plan on doing like a closed beta for YouTubers so they can tell the public what they thought about the game before it launches, please consider me as one of them, even though I am more of a smaller channel. Well, with that being said, thank you guys for watching this video, and if you got this far, please like and comment on the video. And as usual, if you're new here, please consider subscribing. We are doing pretty well in subscriber counts as of this week. With all that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video.
Alright, here. And then,
Jeez.
facing.
Come on, lady. Alright, back up. She's going into her second phase. Can't do anything to her.
Hold up, let me.
Hey.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
You know, for me personally, I really hope they make the bosses in Lords of the Fallen 2 a little bit harder.
This is perfect for me.
Hey.
Yeah.
I stand back, you do most of the work.
Oh crap, I took too long to... Crap, I'm trying to parry her and I'm out of practice with the parrying system. Watch out. Alright, move over here to the left. Oh!
Yeah! Alright.
There we go. Dang it. Not that sound.
Nice. Hey. Yeah.
You got it.
Hey, you just threw that guys. Yeah. I'm right here. Yeah. Dang. Wow. Dang, bro. Hang on.